Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Mario. Yeah, me, Mario. Hey. So listen, this isn't gonna be anything too special. Long time no see, guys. How y'all doing? You all doing good? Hope you are. Um, Look, basically, it's been a little while since you guys last seen me. I did upload two shorts on YouTube about like what? Maybe I think the last one was about a month ago. That was kind of like commemorating the Grim 6 year anniversary of the PSF AGP. And speaking of which, I heard that, well, I saw in the video that Bridget's dad, Doug West, is now also dead. So rest in peace, Doug. I mean, hope you found some peace now. But anyways, I don't want to get into that. The reason I'm doing this video as well, I guess in some ways you probably want to know where I've been. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I've been really busy with stuff, with work and all of that. I just had just some things going on at work. I don't know. It's just been really busy. I don't know exactly how to explain it. It's just work and then personal life stuff with my family. Hanging out with them and just a lot of things going on. And to be honest, and I know, and I've said this before. I just don't feel as inspired to do YouTube as I was. And like honestly, it's not like I ever really wanted to make it too big. Although maybe when I was younger, I think I did, but I don't remember honestly. But I was never really intending to make this a job. You know what I'm saying? I was just kind of wanted to do it for fun. I mean, as you know, that my videos really don't have ads on it. Some might, but that's because if when they reach a certain amount of views, they get ads. But anyway, so yeah, it's just been really busy, and again, just because of how busy it's been, I just don't really have the time to do it or exactly the inspiration. I mean, one, I still do have one video to get out, and that's the train watch video. Although depending on when this comes out, maybe that already came out. I don't know, but I'm sure this is probably gonna come out, as soon as possible. But you know, anyways, so the other reason doing this video though is, well, I just wanted to kind of explain something, with that on that last video that you guys saw, not the short, now the actual video, the long term video, the where basically the 4 part series of the second time that Amanda Sunshine's father, Dan Sunshine, puts Amanda on slave mode. And I just wanted to say right now that if some of you guys were kind of a little bit offended by that kind of stuff, or if it was like too much for you guys, I apologize. I don't really ask why I do things like that. It's just an idea, and then we just kind of stick along with it. I know that it's kind of one person beating up the other and putting them down and stuff. And look, I'm not encouraging violence by any means. All right, I don't intend for that. There's reasons why I do it, but it's just a little bit hard to explain. And so, I just don't want to get into it too much. But again, I do apologize if some of you guys might be offended by that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously, like I'm not, like I said, I'm not for it. I really am not. I mean, I know the video might show otherwise, but I'm really not. Okay, I just want you guys to know it's just an idea that I had, that the creator had, and well, okay, I don't want to get too in depth into it. Maybe someday I might give an explanation, but don't quote me on that, okay? But anyways, the reason why I'm doing this is talking about that video, I just kind of want to explain something. Look, in one of those parts of the videos, there's a scene where Dan basically tells Amanda, "Well, hey, wasn't it your idea for all this stuff to happen?" And then she kind of reluctantly says it was her idea. And well, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it kind of was her idea for all this to happen. I think. Let me just explain how it worked. All right, I don't want to take too long explaining this. Let me just explain it. So basically, for a while now, Amanda actually was curious, to see how long she could go without eating because, well, something you may or may not know about Amanda Sunshine is, well, if she goes like a certain amount of hours without eating, let's say I think at most she can go like 7, maybe 7.5, if she depending on how much food she had in advance. But you know, if she had a lot of food in advance, she could probably go 7.5 hours. But after that 7 hours, if she doesn't eat anything, then she'll start to get hungry, and like right, right. That's kind of typical, but you know, in her case, see, if she gets hungry, and you guys have seen in a few videos, although it's been a while, and I don't know if everybody's been following for so long now, but you know, after a certain period of time, she starts to get hungry, and the problem with her getting hungry is that she starts to get kind of dangerous. You know what I'm saying? it starts off with like her feeling like hungry, like regular people. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that she isn't a regular person, but it's just different because she starts off feeling hungry, right? Just normally, but then after like I don't know, like a minute or two, or maybe even 3 minutes, then something just kind of snaps in her mind where she starts to feel a little bit more irrational and kind of crazy, you know what I mean? And then, basically, it goes through a few steps where she's like normal hunger, and then there's like, where she starts to kind of lose her mind a little bit. It actually kind of starts right away, but again, it's like 3 minutes in is where she kind of starts to become a little bit more crazy, let's just say. And then, if it's like 6 or 7 minutes in, then she'll start to get a little bit more crazy, meaning she'll get kind of towards dangerous. And basically, what how it works, and I know this is going to sound specific and kind of crazy, but and I don't know if she wants me to explain this, but basically, if it reaches the 15-minute limit, because that's how long she has until stuff happens, if it reaches that limit, let's just say that she becomes a completely, entirely different person. I mean, you guys have seen it before in some videos, but I don't think it describes just how crazy she could really be. I mean, she could cause hell. I mean, she can like, you know, make people unalive people basically, or kill people. Okay, I'm not afraid to say it. She'll literally start killing people, and she'll literally get destructive. And there's been a time actually where she actually was so desperate, so hungry that she actually tried to eat somebody. No joke. I don't want to get into that too much though. I don't want to freak you guys out, but like seriously, that's just that. She has a couple of things. She has some pretty bad anger issues, and when you make her so angry, she'll like literally get violent. Then, but she has a lot of different triggers where it can make her really violent and crazy and stuff. But basically, what um I'll just announce specifically three dangers that she has. She has hunger, she has sleep, and she has what was the last one? Anger. Anger. Yeah, thanks. She has those three dangers: hunger, sleep, and anger. If she doesn't get enough sleep, or if she's like disturbed too many times, she'll get kind of dangerous then. And the sleep and anger part of it's the hardest, but the hunger is a little bit easier. Although that can be tricky, especially if she reaches her limit. Um, but basically, so what am I getting at? So we actually kind of were talking one time, some time ago. The videos that you saw were made in June of 2023, but sometime before that, we were talking, and basically, you know, we were just wondering, well, what would it be like if you were to this is me telling this to her, or something like that, something like, well, what would happen if you actually were able to go on like a day long fast, maybe 2 days, something like that. And we had talked about it for a little bit, and that's kind of how you know eventually it just kind of mixed into another possible slave mode video, which was the last one that you guys saw. um and let me just think about this. Here, just hang on a second. All right, yeah, I just want to think about that real quick, but basically, she wanted to, we were talking, and basically kind of both of our ideas, but also a little bit more her idea than mine. She just basically wanted to see how it was like, you know, how it was like to go all day basically without eating. And we kind of mixed this in eventually, to a possible slave mode video. And we talked about this, and the other slave mode video that you guys also saw, which we did back in October 2022. And if you don't know what I mean, just think about her voice, because her voice here sounds more high pitched, whereas her voice back then, it was like high pitched, but it was still like a male type voice. You know what I'm saying? But basically, in the last one, you know, in that one, she did get hungry then, but it was like not for too long. It was a lot more different then. But for this one, it was going to be, she was going to be put into slave mode, making a lot of orders to her. And at the same time, she was going to go a whole day without eating. And, well, and you guys are probably thinking, well, for someone who do know Amanda, who's seen her, like you would say, well, isn't she pretty skinny? I mean, why would she need to do that? But it wasn't because of she was afraid of putting on weight or anything. It was just something that she wanted to try, and again, we just kind of went along with it, and then eventually, that's what inspired us to come up with the idea for the next Slave Bone video where, basically she would go the entire day without eating. But here's something that you guys might not know. Basically, you know, we started off the video. Dan was the one who started off the video, as you guys see. And then eventually, after he's done talking and stuff, there's a part where, he gets Amanda out, and then he just wakes her up right away. And she isn't in slave mode yet. She just, he wakes her up, and then, she's like, hey, what's going on? And then he throws her down and stuff. And then just immediately, just a few seconds after she gets woken up, she gets put on the slave mode. And look, basically, she knew for a while now that this was going to happen, that we were going to put her on the slave mode. I think even the night before, we discussed saying that, oh, by the way, maybe the next day we'll do the slave mode video together. And I think she was all right with it. I think we discussed it before, but I do know she was preparing for this in advance. But basically, when Dan woke her up and threw her around and then eventually put her on the slave mode and all that, it actually sort of kind of caught her off guard a little bit. She wasn't exactly ready because, see, we didn't wake her up yet. She wasn't awake yet. So, we just kind of woke her up right away and just immediately just started, putting her on the slave mode. And, that's when it started basically, and then she basically just kind of went along with it, even though she wasn't exactly ready for it. You know what I mean? Like, she knew it was gonna happen. I guess she just wasn't really expected it to happen for her to be woken up right away and for it to start just right then and there. I think she was a little bit unprepared for it. But yeah, basically, so she's on the slave mode. She does get put on the slave mode, and then there's several moments where where she gets really hungry, and then, basically you saw where her dad kind of teases her with food and stuff, making her think that he's going to feed her. And, as you see on multiple occasions, actually, he doesn't. He makes her starve. And again, just to emphasize, like, in the video, it would seem like she like doesn't like the idea whatsoever. And in some ways, it was a little bit real. Like, the pain and all that stuff, where she was getting beaten up. I mean, that's clearly real. Like that's not fake. And I'm pretty sure Dan was getting pretty far into it. Where he would, where when he was beating her up and stuff. I think he was getting pretty far into it. But what am I trying to say? Well, basically, so, all that stuff happens. She's like, basically, she does basically go the whole day without eating, but also, in addition to that, she also has to deal with the fact that her dad is beating her up, which again, she was expecting. I think she just wasn't exactly prepared for it. And, but she did go along with it. As you saw, she did take it, pretty well, you know what I mean? But, I mean, I'll just tell you, like, those videos, like, where she was being like beaten up and stuff, I mean, and even yelled at too, like, and being insulted and stuff. I mean, jeez, it was pretty extreme. Let me tell you. I mean, again, it was, kind of scripted. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't supposed to be for real. Although you guys don't know that, but I don't even know if I'm really supposed to be mentioning the part that it is technically scripted, but. Yeah, and if you guys didn't know that, then you would probably be thinking, "Wow, well, geez, if that's scripted, then they did a pretty good job at acting." But yeah, but technically, it was on the script, and we just kind of lung it mostly. But you know, basically, yeah, Dan's anger towards Amanda was technically not for real, but I'll tell you this, the way it was perceived, he would think it is, and honestly, like, some parts I was like, oh my gosh, he's taking it a little bit far, and I think there was points where he generally did like have a lot of anger towards her and stuff, and the parts where she would speak out against him and stuff, yeah, you would see how he would take that, but so what was I saying? Just let me think.